Listen up. If you're here because you think male reproductive abuse is just some edgy phrase to throw around for content, exit quietly and go eat drywall. This is one of the darkest, most heinous corners of human behavior. Men using women's bodies like infrastructure, like a resource, like a captive supply chain. Soft language is how this stuff survives. It survives in euphemisms. It survives in "he made a mistake." It survives in "it's complicated." It survives in "boys will be boys." It survives in the world's most grotesque magic trick, turning terror into a private matter. Male reproductive abuse is what happens when a man treats a woman's reproductive system as something he can control, access, invade, override, or weaponize. And yes, women can manipulate too. We already covered female reproductive coercion. But when men do reproductive abuse, the ceiling of violence goes through the roof because men often have physical power, social permission, and institutions that historically treated women's bodies as communal property. That's the trifecta: force, entitlement, and a legal cultural shrug. So, I'm going to talk to you like you're the audience in a lecture hall, and I'm the only adult left who still remembers what words mean. First, stop thinking of this as sex stuff. That framing is part of the problem. This isn't about sex as intimacy. This is sex as governance, sex as domination, sex as enforced biology, sex used as a lever to change a woman's life without her consent. Reproductive abuse is not "he wanted kids." It's not "he has a strong libido." It's not "he's traditional." It's not "he's protective." It's not "he's religious." It's not "he's insecure." It's not "he panicked." It's not "he loves her so much." It is the deliberate interference with a woman's reproductive autonomy. Contraception sabotage, forced pregnancy, coerced sex, coerced continuation of pregnancy, coerced abortion, surveillance, isolation, threats, violence. Medical organizations explicitly frame reproductive and sexual coercion as power and control behavior, a form of intimate partner violence. And because humans love being stupid in predictable ways, society has a tendency to treat the reproductive outcomes like they're just life happening, instead of the end product of control. Let me give you the central moral fact right up front. If a man forces pregnancy, he is manufacturing vulnerability. He's creating a dependent person inside someone else's body, often as a way to bind, punish, entrap, control, or erase her future. Pregnancy isn't just a condition. It's a massive shift in risk, mobility, finances, career, social perception, and physical safety. When someone forces it, it's a life-hijacking act. Now the methods, because this isn't one thing. It's a constellation of tactics. And what makes it especially ugly is how many of these tactics hide in plain sight, right under society's romance and relationship excuses. One classic method is condom refusal and coercion. I don't like condoms. It doesn't feel good. If you loved me, you wouldn't make me. The point is to turn protection into a loyalty test. This is not about sensation. It's about control and access. It's about training a woman to surrender her boundaries to keep the peace. And if she resists, he escalates. Anger, sulking, intimidation, guilt, threats, cheating threats, accusations, verbal abuse. If a woman's no to unprotected sex triggers rage, you're not looking at passion. You're looking at entitlement. You're looking at a man who believes he is owed access to her body on his terms. Then there's contraception sabotage. I'm not going to write you a how-to manual because I'm not helping predators optimize. But conceptually, interfering with birth control, restricting access to it, hiding it, destroying it, preventing clinic visits, controlling money, monitoring communications, coercing a woman not to use contraception, forcing her to prove she's not cheating by refusing protection. The essence is always the same: removing her ability to prevent pregnancy while pretending the resulting pregnancy is natural or God's will or meant to be. And if you're thinking, that sounds rare, please appreciate your privilege. Even the CDC notes that violence around pregnancy is a real and measurable problem. In the US, it reports about 6% of people with a recent live birth experienced emotional, physical, or sexual violence during pregnancy by a current intimate partner. And many also experienced it before pregnancy. That's not a few bad apples. That's a public health crisis with better PR. Another method is reproductive surveillance, men tracking cycles, monitoring apps, demanding access to phones, policing doctor appointments, watching medication, accusing her of trying to trap him while he's actively trying to trap her. It's paranoid, controlling, and often wrapped in a fake concern voice. I just care about your health. No, he cares about having jurisdiction. Then there's the forced continuation side, coercing a woman to carry a pregnancy she does not want. This can be direct threats. If you abort, I'll kill you. Or it can be coercion by consequences. If you abort, I'll leave you, I'll ruin you, I'll tell your family, I'll take the other kids, I'll expose you, I'll destroy your life. Men can weaponize social stigma, religion, immigration status, finances, housing, and because pregnancy is time-sensitive, coercion has extra power. Delay and obstruction can be enough to remove options. UNFPA explicitly lists preventing a desired abortion as a form of reproductive coercion. Now we move into the extreme violence tier. The stuff that makes your stomach do that slow drop because your brain doesn't want to accept humans can do this. Kidnapping, sexual enslavement, forced impregnation, captivity pregnancies, forced birth in a basement, as some would put it. Josef Fritzl is not a metaphor. He's a case study in the outer boundary of male reproductive abuse, imprisonment, and repeated sexual violence resulting in multiple births during captivity. Reliable reporting and case summaries describe that he held his daughter captive for years and repeatedly raped her, resulting in multiple children. He was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. That's the nightmare version, the horror movie version. But here's the part you have to understand. The same underlying logic exists on a spectrum. Fritzl is an extreme endpoint of the same worldview that says a woman's body is a thing you can claim, a place you can store your desires, a site you can occupy, a function you can operate, a system you can commandeer. At the mild end, that worldview is, I don't want to wear a condom, so you're going to deal with it. At the severe end, it becomes, you're not a person, you're property, and I'm going to produce outcomes from you. Same engine, different brutality. So what's the psychology of men who do this? First, entitlement, the simplest and most common poison. The belief that women owe men sex, affection, fertility, devotion, motherhood, and gratitude for being chosen. Entitlement is the foundation of reproductive abuse because it turns another person's autonomy into an obstacle. If he believes he is owed a baby, he will treat her refusal as rebellion. If he believes he is owed access, he will treat her boundaries as disrespect. And in entitlement logic, disrespect must be punished. Second, ownership mentality. This is the my woman worldview taken literally. Ownership doesn't just mean I love her. Ownership means I decide. It means I have rights over her body. It means her reproductive choices belong to me. It often shows up as jealousy and control, but the reproductive piece is where you see it clearly. The insistence on determining whether she gets pregnant, stays pregnant, or ends a pregnancy. Third, coercive control as a personality style. Some men don't merely want a partner. They want a controlled environment. They want predictability. They want dominance. They want a person who behaves like a subsystem in their life. Pregnancy is attractive to this type because it constrains a woman's options. It can limit mobility. It can limit employment. It can isolate her socially. It can increase dependency. It can make leaving harder. A controlling man sees pregnancy as leverage, not as a shared joy. Fourth, sadism and dehumanization. At the extreme end, some men enjoy breaking women. They enjoy fear. They enjoy the feeling of being able to override another human's agency. Rape is not sex, it's violence. And reproductive rape is violence plus manufacturing. It's violence plus forced biological consequences. Fifth, ideology. Religion, patriarchy, nationalism, traditional values, whatever mask you prefer. Ideology can rationalize abuse by framing women as vessels. When a man is taught that women exist to bear children, he doesn't need to see himself as abusive. He sees himself as enforcing natural order. That's how monsters sleep at night. They don't think they're monsters. They think they're righteous. Now let me say something to the audience that always makes people uncomfortable because it's true. A lot of ordinary men will never kidnap anyone, never lock anyone in a basement, never do the cinematic horror stuff, but they will still participate in the cultural scaffolding that makes it possible. They will laugh at jokes about baby trapping. They will dismiss women's fear. They will minimize coercion as relationship drama. They will treat consent as negotiable. They will act like contraception is a woman's job and then act shocked when pregnancy happens. They will call women crazy for insisting on protection and then call them sluts for getting pregnant. They will have opinions about abortion that mysteriously never require them to do anything except control someone else. And if you're sitting there going, not all men, yes, congratulations, you discovered counting. The point is not that all men do it. The point is that enough men do it, and enough men excuse it, and enough systems enable it, that women live with the risk in a way men barely comprehend. Male reproductive abuse thrives in a specific ecosystem: secrecy, isolation, stigma, dependency, and institutional inertia. If a woman is financially dependent, socially isolated, or scared of retaliation, she's easier to control. If the community stigmatizes her for speaking out, she stays silent. If police and courts treat it as domestic issues, abusers get time. If healthcare is inaccessible, coercion gets stronger. If abortion access is restricted, forced birth becomes easier. If people keep telling women to choose better, abusers get to operate while everyone blames the target. And the most infuriating part is how often the abuse is reframed as romance. The man who controls contraception is protective. The man who demands pregnancy is serious about commitment. The man who threatens her if she aborts just cares about his baby. The man who traps her is starting a family. The man who surveils her cycle is involved. The man who refuses condoms is passionate. No, that's not love. Love doesn't require coercion. Love doesn't punish boundaries. Love doesn't demand biological consequences. Love doesn't treat a person's body as a policy decision. Here's the ethical core. And it's the part most people refuse to say because it demolishes the comfortable myths. The ability to reproduce is not a license to impose life-altering risk on someone else. Pregnancy is not a toy. It's not a symbol. It's not a proof of devotion. It's not a gift a woman owes a man. It is a high-risk biological process with lifelong consequences. Coercing it is a form of violence, even when it doesn't look like a punch. A man who controls a woman's reproduction is not building a family. He's building a prison with a heartbeat. One more thing, because I'm not going to be cute about this. It's not a sport. It's not men bad, women good. Women can and do coerce too. There are female abusers. There are male victims. The data even shows both men and women can experience reproductive coercion in intimate partner contexts. But male reproductive abuse has a uniquely horrifying capacity for physical domination and forced pregnancy outcomes at the extreme, and it sits in the shadow of centuries of institutionalized female subordination. That context matters. Humans keep pretending they're civilized while doing caveman ownership rituals with better vocabulary. Male reproductive abuse is one of the clearest proofs that civilization is a thin coat of paint over appetite and dominance. The only antidote is naming it, refusing to romanticize it, and refusing to let family values function as a moral hall pass for coercion. And for anyone in the audience who still wants to argue, still wants to minimize, still wants to treat this like a difference of opinion, here's the final sentence you can't weasel out of. If your desire requires overriding someone's bodily autonomy, it is not desire. It is violence with a justification story.